It's Chris Fade and Caroline Stanbury's Not So Epic podcast.
Brought to you by NMC Healthcare and Cosmesurge. Head to cosmesurge.com.
Welcome back.
Well,
I took that from you.
You got it again. Welcome back.
I had to push it in, but
I like it.
Yeah.
That's what she said. Chris and Caroline's Not So Epic podcast. We're back again for another episode. You can get us wherever you've got us. We want to say thank you so much for spreading the word. If you're on the gram, it's Chris and Caroline on Instagram. Feel free to shoot us those messages. We get some good DMs after the episodes of you wanting to ask us more questions. So please have that going on. But we're on all the platforms, Angami, Spotify.
and we're growing nicely.
YouTube. We are growing nicely. I'm loving what we're doing.
Very excited today because I have a friend of mine on and Chris is on.
Yep.
And we've worked together in the past. And we have Miss Dubai.
Miss Dubai in the house, Megan Pormer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Someone's got to clap for you. Someone's got to clap.
Okay, we'll clap. Yeah. Welcome. Yeah. First time on the podcast.
First time on the podcast. Can you believe it? Like you two, I probably on DM with you two on a daily basis, and I've never been on the podcast.
Well, she's actually been. Megan came on according to Caroline.
Yeah, that's right. Now, according to Caroline, was something that you did in LA.
Well, in Newport, but actually we are in January going on tour.
That's
Did I
so
tell you
cool.
this? Yeah, I'm going on tour. So I'm doing a tour with Live Nation and UTA. And
Name drop.
Don't be jealous.
That's
such
huge.
a hater.
It's good.
Yeah.
How did I not know about that?
I don't know.
Come on.
I haven't seen you. I'm going to see you. But anyway, Megan was one of my first guests on the first panel. We had a great panel of women. And actually, funnily enough, I wasn't sure because we didn't know each other very well. And I wasn't sure what we were going to talk about and what your story would be. And I didn't know what Miss Dubai did in particular. But I mean, you are so much more, and not that Miss Dubai is an amazing feat, it really is, but you are so much more than Miss Dubai. Because,
Can I say, you both were inboxing me asking about each other.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Like in
I
a good
believe
way.
that.
Do you know,
I believe that.
Oh yeah, what did she do?
Yeah, and you were like, yo, how's Caroline? Like, both of you was good, and I was honest about both of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, what do you say?
You're
Don't
both
like
good
either of
people. You're both, don't go anywhere near each other. No, I was like, you're both amazing people.
You
and
are
I
the
think,
common strand.
yes, I just wanted to
No.
get that in. I just want to feel like I'm part of this.
No, you know what? First of all, anyone that comes from you, all of my best friends come from you. Like they've
Actually,
all
I
come
know.
from you.
I've
All of my
introduced
best
you to
friends
some
come
good
from,
people,
come from you. Kelly Sandrowski,
Yes.
and now this one. So this is how he told me about you. He comes to our plays and he says, I want to tell you about someone. This girl, Caroline, she's something else. You use
Did the lights
phrase
go
like,
on when you said that?
I know.
She's something else, and then the lights appeared.
No, he said something like, it's just too good to be true or something. Like you said something along those lines. He's like, yeah, she's
I did.
like
I really said that.
She's
I said
this.
she's too nice. She's too cool.
Yeah.
And then after knowing her for a while, I'm like, is she legit?
Yeah,
She's cool.
yeah. And he's like, yeah, this is all legit. She actually is that good. So
Yeah.
I'm like, all right.
Well, I'm glad that you guys have connected. And so what on
We actually did we really connect at your birthday? Was it your birthday, or we knew each other before?
no, you had your wisdom teeth out, so you weren't like speaking. You didn't say a word.
Yes, this was in LA at that restaurant. What was that restaurant with? It was in Beverly
Avra.
Hills.
Avra.
We went
my
to
gosh,
Avra.
we sound
We had the
so
That was a
yuck.
fun night.
We had the most weird dinner because Chris's friends are so eclectic and no one really knew each other, and it was such a bizarre birthday dinner because we were all thrown together, but somehow, and he did this thing where we were all musical chairs, so I was like, oh, this is going to be my nightmare where I've got to like move around a
You
table.
didn't move.
Well, I didn't move. You just did. But actually, everyone got on really, really well. We had such a good night.
Yeah,
although I
was
was quieter.
Had you just had your wisdom teeth taken
Yeah.
out? Is
Yeah,
that
I think
what
the
it
day
was?
before. Actually.
all of them, right?
Yeah, 4.
No, on that day.
Oh,
I
on
think
that day?
I
Yeah.
think so.
Yeah,
Because
nothing
you were
stopped
like,
her. She was out until 3 a.m.
The night before.
the night before the surgery, and then out after the surgery. She kept going.
how
So-
do you, like, where do you get all that energy from? Seriously.
I really don't know, actually. And weirdly, he's just fed me a coffee, which is like put me right down.
You know, that's a topic that we talk about in
Coffee?
LA. No, you.
Oh,
your
really?
energy. Everybody's like, where did you get all that energy from? Like,
I know.
we're
You
like,
see what people would love to find out. I was on some sort of illegal drug and shaking in a corner on a day-to-day because they literally like, no, really, where does it come from? I'm like, just happiness and just like, I mean, people just don't believe it, but I just am. I get up and I bound up and I have my coffee in the morning. I think the gym and kids and
YOLO.
YOLO baby.
YOLO
Yes.
baby.
Just life. We're in one life. And we were just talking about it. 10,000 days left. How would you spend them? Not in bed. Well, I mean, I did spend the whole Saturday in bed. But you're the same. You don't stop. You don't stop. I mean, you do need to have a few babies in between. We have discussed this. She thinks her dog is her baby. But anyway, we're getting off track here.
Okay,
The fact
let's go.
is, I want you to tell everyone, because I was floored by this, because I have a vision of sort of pageant, beauty pageants and women like that do this sort of being one dimensional in a way. I know that I shouldn't, but I do. And they sort of stand around and, say they're going to solve world peace. But this one actually may well do it. Please tell everyone what you sort of did before and what your sort of education and background is, because it's actually quite incredible.
Well, I started with United Nations when I was 5. I was the ambassador for children's rights. And then I remember very clearly when I got on the stage for the first time, and I was like, oh, I want to be doing this for a living. And then we started traveling with my family. We went to Turkey, and I went to school in Dubai for a couple of years. And then we were all around the region. And then I got into acting, got into modeling. And then one day my dad sat me down and he's like, listen, if you want my support in your entertainment career, you got to either become a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer, or we don't have a deal. I'm like, all right, this is serious. And my dad was my life, like my best friend. I'm like, okay, I'm going to compromise. If you promise me that you're gonna support me in my entertainment career as soon as I'm done, he's like, you get your PhD. No, he said, you get your bachelor's degree. I'm gonna support you. I'm like, beautiful. They sent me to England. They sent me to a boarding school in Worcestershire. And I couldn't speak English at all. And they sent me to Great Malvern, which is the last stop, the last train stop. You know it, right?
Yeah.
So I suffered for a month, but had to learn everything within a month. And then from there, went to high school, went to university, finished my bachelor degree, went to my dad, hey, I'm done. He's like, you do your master's degree and I'm 100% behind you and I'm going to help you and we're all going to move to LA.
Kind of loving her father right now.
Oh, I know.
He's an actual genius.
He's a genius. He is a genius. Trust me, I thank him on an hourly basis for he was dangling the carrot, but that was the right approach, which is, if I ever have a child, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to give them.
Your father sadly passed.
Yeah, he passed away. So then he says, you get your master's degree, I'm in. Got my master's degree, went to my dad and he said, listen, you've come this far.
Yeah.
And he had helped me go to school faster. I went to university when I was 16. So the deal was he would help me through my education system by we were moving from the Middle East to Europe. And that was buying me time because the schools in the Middle East are ahead of the ones in Europe. So I was getting ahead. I was jumping. And then I was studying in between during summers.
Wow.
So when I went to university, I was 16 because I wanted to make sure I graduate early enough so I can just dive into modeling, right?
Did you know all this?
I knew, no, not to this extent. I knew that.
Yeah.
I knew some of it, but not to this extent.
Chris is very quiet because he cannot relate at all.
Did you go to college? Did
No,
you?
Chris.
I didn't either. All right.
So then he says, listen, you've come this far, get your PhD. And I promise you, I have it all planned out for you. We'll move to LA immediately. And I already have all the contacts. And my dad was a prominent man. So he was a big businessman. I knew he had a lot of contacts. I'm like, beautiful, I'm in. Halfway through my PhD, he passed away in an accident.
Wow.
And then it was I could not quit.
In a car accident?
No, he fell from the roof of his own shopping center. Yeah, he fell.
Okay. Sorry to hear.
Then
How old were you?
I was 19 at the time.
Okay.
And I took a little bit off and then went right back, started my PhD, went all the way in.
Good.
And then at the same time, I started contact. And then at this point, I was back to zero because without my dad, I had nothing and
Sure.
no contacts. And he was a big businessman that when he died, we lost everything because my mom was a housewife and she didn't even know how to pay water bills. Mom, I love you, but at the time you didn't know what to do. But
You're being truthful. Okay. Yeah.
I know. And so we went to zero. So all the dreams of, oh my God, I have all the contacts and whatever, and I'm going to make it, gone. So I remember looking at myself in the mirror and I'm like, wow, all my dreams, bam, gone in a second. Anyway, I remember calling an immigration attorney the day after my dad died. And I'm like, I want to move to LA because I was like, let me give it a try because I lost my identity when he died. I was no longer even a remotely important person. I was nobody's daughter anymore. I used to be known as that person's daughter.
How does that go overnight though? Because what about his friends, and what about like he didn't have any money left?
Money changes everyone.
Where's the money?
The money was taken by the government. So we were screwed overnight. And unfortunately, other than my immediate family, everybody else went with the money, from like, all the people that were like
the
there.
hanger-oners, the guys that were around there, they just disappear.
Which is what, like, in a way, I'm grateful that I've witnessed that already, because no money, no fame, nothing can make me like...
My dad lost his money, and I think it was the best thing that ever happened to us.
It
to be
changes
honest, everyone.
But here's the thing: you get to feel like if you find someone that's a real deal, you really cherish them forever. Like I cherish you. I cherish Kelly Sandrowski, because I'm like, when you find real people, you're like, okay, money, no money, nothing will change them. So I gotta cherish them. Anyway. Back to school, finished my PhD. In the meantime, I was already getting in and out of LA, going every 2-3 months to test the water and get into some agencies and getting to I really wanted to see if it's possible to make it without money and without contacts and without being somebody's daughter.
See, I find it so amazing, and this is what I struggle with you. And please don't take this the wrong way, but I think you're so wasted with the stuff that you're trying to do, like that you're doing. Because I really do. You have such an incredible story, and I really struggle with watching you go down runways and do all this kind of fashion stuff, because I'm like, I have a load of
saying that she's
wasted on it.
Well, then
she's so
you
much
can't
better
say
than that.
that.
I do. I think she's got like a better purpose. Like
A lot of
these
people say that, by the way.
Sorry to all catwalk models that are listening to this show.
I mean, I know a lot of catwalk models, and I'm not saying this, whatever else, but a lot of them don't want a voice. A lot of them are very happy just doing that. A lot of them, it's a very tough industry. Is she going to be a supermodel overnight? Okay, she's got a platform. She's got a huge thing. Is she going to be the... What have I done?
No,
now?
I'm just putting the microphone closer to you. There we go.
Sorry,
Sorry.
I should know.
Yeah.
I just feel like your story is so much stronger, and that you've gone through half your life of, striving for something, and fashion is, for me, it's just a little bit emptier.
You're just saying that what people may see Megan who don't know this story before.
No, I don't think. No, I'm not saying. That people would judge Megan for being something else. I feel that she can do so much more. That she has so much more.
A lot of people. I'm familiar with what she's saying.
Okay.
Let me tell you why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I was in the UK, I was always very passionate about cancer. Well, funny enough, I always thought I'm going to lose my dad to cancer, so I was like, I got to find a cure for cancer. I found out that the scientist discovered a gene that's associated with breast and ovarian cancer. And I'm like, jackpot. So we're going to get genetically tested. If we have it, we're going to start doing anything, like any preventative treatment, whatever. And I kept pushing the message out there, and nobody was open to it, and nobody was understanding it. Years and years and years. One day, Angelina Jolie spoke about having a preventative double mastectomy as a result of being diagnosed with the hereditary cancer for a breast cancer predisposition. Bam! The whole world suddenly thought, oh, there was this new DNA test that was discovered. All women were rushing to have mammography and having, if they were diagnosed with the gene, to have a preventative double mastectomy. Women are being super proactive about their lives. And I'm like, wait a second. The test, it's been available for a decade before, but nobody was listening to the fact that it was available until Angelina spoke about it.
Well, you're
Why?
now Miss Dubai. You're now Miss Dubai. You have that platform.
And that's what I wanted. So when I speak, it can be heard. And unfortunately, in today's, I think it's always been this throughout the history. People listen to fun things better than they listen to important things.
But you make the important things sound fun. That's what I'm saying. So you already have this platform. You've become Miss Dubai. You've done all this. You're now, but you can become highly famous and successful by doing these kind of talks and things like this for women, or, you know, which I'm realizing, like, I would take away the other side of what I'm doing with, you know, the According to Caroline talks and everything. That's not based on my TV career. Okay, you know, I mean, I'm probably more well known today from my Instagram and things like that than I am my TV career now, which is gone. You know, I may or may not do something else in the future, but it's not important anymore. I have a platform. You have a bigger platform than me, actually, and you can go off and do all of this without all that. That's my question, because, you know,
it dies down if you don't dress it up well. If you don't, like, right now, I'm working with a lot of biotech companies, and I have been doing those talks, and I have been putting it out on Instagram. But I get more, like, people pay more attention if there's a picture of me with a fabulous makeup or like a crazy outfit than when I tell them that I was in Singapore last month, telling them about the next era would be the quantum era. We're now in digital era, it will be the quantum era.
But isn't that just likes, not real interest? You mean like you get more likes, or you get
more interaction? People don't respond to when you talk about cancer treatments. Unfortunately, it's still a scary subject, and people don't want to, like, go through their feeds and see things about cancer all day.
I think your whole life story is so interesting.
Aww.
Don't you?
I wish everybody would feel this way.
I think with Megan is that, let's just talk about some of the stuff that you have done here. Is obviously front cover of, like, I think nearly every single magazine.
Yeah, every single one.
Name me some of the magazines you've been on the front cover of.
I did the cover of Elle,
Women's
Cosmo,
Health.
Women's Health, yes.
Which is amazing. So you're creating, from what I understand, you're creating a platform for yourself now with Instagram and social media, and just getting that fan base, not only here in Dubai, but across the world now. You want to use that platform to start talking about other things, for example, cures and prevention and stuff like that.
Exactly. I'm on the forefront of the newest discoveries when it comes to finding a cure for cancer. By cure, I mean, hopefully in our lifetime and very soon, cancer will be so easily treatable. It's going to be exactly like the flu. When our grandparents were getting the flu, they were all dying and they were freaking out. They were reacting the same way that people are reacting towards cancer, even worse. Cancer is going to be easily treatable very soon. And I'm on the forefront of knowing about all the treatments that are available and where they are in terms of getting approved by the FDA. So I am trying my best to create as a big platform that when that day happens and when I speak, the world will hear it. Because that's when I can actually make a big difference, and not just to 100 people or to 1 million people, to a lot of people. And that's the fire behind every single thing I do. To give you an example, 2 nights ago, I was walking in a fashion show, and the woman was a breast cancer survivor. She had just done chemo 6 days prior to the show. And she put together the whole show for 6 days. And we came out together and we talked about it. And I saw that more people responded to that than to all of my videos talking about breast cancer prevention, because it was in the form of, like, fashion and runway and dresses and colors.
Yeah, it's, in the month of October, which is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, it's, I was just talking to people today that from a car company who get 65 Jeeps on the road at the same time just to drive in a convoy, all pink, and then they go and have a bit of a barbecue and party on the beach. And I was like, why do you do that? They're like, just to create awareness. Because if anyone's seeing what we're doing, we want them to go get checked up. We want them to go get that mammogram. At school,
yeah,
you're right.
they came home. My sons came home asking for money for their pink ribbon,
Yeah.
which is so sweet, because at that age, my boys are 9, and already they want to do it, and which is so cute.
When you get checked every year? How does it work with you?
I do get checked every year. Yes, I have a mammogram.
A mammogram?
Yeah.
Do you need to be checked? If you don't feel anything around your breasts, do you still need to be checked as a mammogram?
No, always. And I always did. And also I have fake breasts, so you can't really feel it. And yeah. So also I did this stupid thing before I had fake boobs, after I had my children, they had this thing where you put filler in your boobs, so you didn't have to have an operation. You put what you put in your cheeks and everything. So because after babies, all that happens to you, they sag a little. So I just wanted full up here, but I didn't want bigger boobs. I never wanted bigger boobs. So I said, okay, this is great. What a great alternative. You just inject it in lunch and go back to work and you're done. So I did that. Anyway, it spread all under my armpits, all the thing, and it goes into lumps, hard lumps. And so, I felt all these lumps. I was like, oh my God, I've got breast cancer. Went down to the hospital, had my thing, and they found the filler had just moved. So when I had my boobs done, instead of a 2-hour operation, it took, I think, 7.5 hours because they have to scrape it all out.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh.
So but that doesn't exist anymore. I don't think you're allowed to put filler in boobs anymore.
So if you want to get your breast checked, the field test is not adequate enough. I say this
No,
because
because a lot of
Absolutely
women have fake boobs.
okay, but if
so
you don't,
can't.
No. The
Most
tumor might be really small and might be really, really internal.
So you
won't
checked.
be absolutely.
Mammograms are important.
Absolutely, yeah.
Well, there
But
you go.
you know,
Because I've had this argument with a few women about like, oh yeah, no, I felt I've got
year,
nothing.
every
No,
year,
no.
and most women are their husbands find the
Yeah.
but they go every year. I mean, I'm full on for all these checkups now because I've been doing them every single year, and my husband and I both did full body checks when we arrived here.
Well, if you're in Dubai, check out NMC, our
Yeah.
proud sponsors of this podcast.
Yes.
So make sure you.
No excuse for us, Chris.
No, I know. You know, men can get breast cancer.
Yes.
Really?
Yep.
I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, I was talking to a
I know.
guy on the radio, and he said that he had breast cancer.
Because you have breast tissue. As long as you have tissue, you have the risk. Yeah.
Wow. So what are you doing? So what are you? You're in between LA and Dubai a lot. You're flying
Yes,
back and forth.
yes.
What's happening in LA? What's
So
been happening?
my
You've been doing
new
very
thing
busy.
is bringing American designers to Arab Fashion Week. I just got nominated as the ambassador. No, I actually just
You got a medal.
I
saw
got
the
the medal. Yeah, I am.
You
I was
got a
like,
medal
I think
to
I'm
say,
nominated.
the-
It only happened yesterday, so I'm still not. I haven't digested it yet. So I'm now the ambassador of Arab Fashion Week.
That's amazing.
The reason, that I really wanted this is that Dubai is like this incredibly beautiful place, so luxurious. People work really hard, and I feel like we're not getting the recognition that we deserve internationally. Like, for example, when I go to New York Fashion Week, Paris Fashion Week, I'm like, Dubai is much nicer. All the venues, all the places, but I feel like we don't have enough big international designers
Names.
embrace Arab Fashion Week.
Well, to be fair, it's one hell of a trip. It's not easy. It's not like Europe. You can easily move around and move collections
Yeah, but they go to
around.
Paris.
no, but,
But
from
Paris and-
LA to Paris is like 13
I know,
hours.
but LA. Okay, a lot of the designers aren't coming from LA. Not all of them. The European ones, which are it's so easy. It's a couple of hours to move all of that. It's a 16-hour flight.
But do the guys from Paris go to New York?
Yes.
But again, that's still only 7 hours.
But it's the same to Paris, Dubai is the same.
That's-
Yeah. So I mean, so you're working on now getting those influential American designers to come over
Not
to
just
Dubai.
Americans and designers. Right now, I brought Iris van Herpen. She's actually based in Amsterdam.
Yeah.
And she has the biggest shows in Paris during Paris Fashion Week. And she's here. And tomorrow we're going to have a presentation, which has
amazing.
been my dream for the last 2 years. And I feel like I want Dubai to be recognized more and more for all the hard work, all the people are doing here, the beautiful place, all the spaces we have available
They have
here.
amazing designers. I'm
Yes.
obsessed with this one, which is called Mrs. Keeper.
Yes. Oh my God.
Why
So
do I know
beautiful.
Mrs. Keeper.
Oh my
Mrs.
God,
Keeper's
so
beautiful.
good.
So-
But we need the Balmains of these world and
Yeah.
Versace, and we need the Burberry to kind of really, bring up Arab
Burberry's
fashion
been coming here.
as a standalone show. That's the thing. And when I wanted to bring designers, they were all like, we need a standalone show. I'm like, Arab Fashion Week is exactly like Paris Fashion Week. Why do you want a standalone show? No. So I want them to be a part of Arab Fashion Week and be proud of it. Why has it been, there's always been this division of the Middle East and the rest of the world.
Because it feels very, I get it. I see it. I see they feel very different. The way we dress over here to the way they dress over there. And the seasons, you don't have the same seasons. We don't,
Time to break the barriers. It's time for the Middle East to, I'm just done with Europe and America and the Middle East. It's just all one. It's all about inclusion.
Who were we talking to the other day from the Arab Fashion Council? Who is the CEO?
Jacob Abrian.
So I learned that when we were talking to Jacob that Dubai is 5th on top 5.
Yes,
when it
fashion
comes-
weeks around the world.
So it goes. It's like Paris, New York, Milan,
London, Dubai.
that's great.
which is pretty
Yes.
good. I just thought.
Yeah.
I'm from Sydney, and there's Melbourne Fashion Week. That's not even getting a look in. So slowly but surely, that is that we're climbing up the ladder. A lot of, from what I'm Lebanese, so I'm proud of this, but a lot of Lebanese designers, I feel
Yes.
like, are always
oh my God,
showing.
Lebanese designers are
yeah,
amazing.
Lebanese, we're good in everything, actually,
But
just
I
in
think
anything in life.
for me, it's beyond.
For those of you who can't see, I just did an eye roll.
For me, it's beyond fashion, beyond designers, beyond this. It's all about the fact that when I was a little girl, and I'm from the Middle East, everyone's like, oh, as a Middle Eastern woman, there's this idea that you gotta like give up on your dreams because you're from the Middle East. You know, there are like the cultural limitations, and then your man should come first, and your children should come. You know, it's just, oh, she can do it. But she's from Europe. Oh, she can do it. She's American. So I feel like, why? And this is like this thing. I get all these messages from my Middle Eastern followers, and they say, oh, we wish we weren't stuck in the Middle East so we could go after our dreams like you are in America. I'm like,
No.
No, but it is changing. I mean, even since I've been here, I've noticed a lot of changes here.
I mean, even Saudi, who,
oh my
you know,
God,
an
yeah,
hour away
driving.
is going through one of the biggest transitions a country will ever
I
go
think
through.
it's slowly changing, and people are, the women here, the women I know, and the Middle Eastern women I know are very opinionated and very strong and very powerful women. And actually, the one thing, even though I'm terrible because when I stay here, I've been traveling so much and I have the kids, so I try and stay home as much as I can because I'm always gone. But the one thing I've really felt here is the bond between women.
Yes.
You know, they do all these lunches and dinners. I've never seen more girls' lunches and more girls' dinners in any place in the world where they just, you know. So I think that the network of women really sort of bigging each other up and sort of supporting each other here is huge. It's much more than anywhere else I've been. There is a huge, if I wanted to be in it, by the way, you know, I have been invited. I just, you know, it's really nice. It's lovely. It's just sadly, you know, my children are at an age, not sadly because I want to be with them, but they're at an age where they really need me. And I, you know, I do have to travel so much that I feel bad to come back here and go, you know, I'm out lunch and dinner with the girls. It just doesn't work for me. But maybe one day it will when they're older and then you know, they don't want me at home.
Getting support from other women is key to create this transition for Middle Eastern women. Like one thing that I loved about, according to Caroline, when you were in California, is she was all about that. And it was a group of very powerful women that were all supportive of women making progress and going after their dreams.
And they're all my friends.
Yes.
And they're all
amazing.
powerful women. And we have, and they're sort of all bigging each other up. And that's the whole point of it. And I think I'm glad that you saw that because you were probably one of them that, as I said, they didn't know. And they were my old friends of mine and that you didn't know. So you know, and you all really bonded and got on. And I think everyone was just glued to everybody's story. And that's what's key. And that's what, it's great what you're doing. I mean, I get it. Now you've explained it a lot more. I can take back what I said.
Thank you.
But you know what? I love you for caring about it and for being so supportive. Like sometimes she sends me messages on Instagram and a message that comes from a woman, a powerful woman like her, means more than like 500 other messages that can come from like, well, boys, I love you. Like men are amazing. But when something comes from another female or another woman, it's just, you're like, you know, you feel like she got me. You know?
I get it more. I get it more now as well because I think, you know, I have to say I wasn't sure whether it was just for the, you know, I mean, I just shot a cover. We also made Chris.
Yeah, in Turkey.
Yeah,
I know. It's
beautiful.
Exactly. But, you know, I've been driving him mad. I mean, literally have it under my arm all day. So I was thinking, you know, maybe it's for the glory because it is quite fun. It was quite great. And I have been walking around going, oh, look, I have my own front cover and you have 50 of those. But, you know, and I was thinking maybe it was just for the ego because I liked having mine brushed too, which I totally get it, by the way. But I just, now you've explained it, there is a lot more you can do with that.
Where does Megan Pormer want to be in like 10 years time? Is there a vision that you have, a plan, a wish list?
Yes. The plan is commercializing the medical industry big time to the point that we're going to know about all the available medical treatments the same way that we know about the contour and the makeup and the eyeliner. It's going to be fun and it's going to be easy. People are not going to be scared of getting sick. Like we're not scared of having the cold or the flu. I want the same thing for cancer. I want the same thing for all these other diseases out there that are like.
But it's a very hard thing. I mean, you're talking about medical, you know, medicine versus government and the money, and the powers behind it.
That's why I'm going to keep like working as hard as I can to create a platform big enough that the organizations that matter, like the FDAs of these worlds and the pharmaceutical industry, will listen to me to do, what's better for the people. I love people.
But
how
these are billion-dollar industries, breaking that down, it comes down to money a lot of the time.
I have to go for it. If I don't go for it, I feel like I'm going to have a dream die with me. I got to go all out. Either it's going to, like when my dad died, right? I was like, probably I'm not going to be able to do it without him, but I got to go for it. Otherwise, like I'm going to feel like, oh my God, I'm going to die without trying. So I'm going to go and try.
Completely putting the handbrake up right now, because you both have a mutual friend, and that mutual friend is Paris Hilton.
Yeah.
You both hang out with her regularly. You both have gone on adventures
She probably hangs
together.
out with her far more than I do because they're in LA.
Yeah,
Shiraz, your partner, has looked after Paris, and that's how I met Shiraz, actually. That's exactly how I met Shiraz, through Paris.
Oh,
because,
was it really?
Yeah, because she was visiting here, and Shiraz was looking after her. She was launching one of her perfumes,
Yes.
and she was like, "You've got to come down," and she's like in the middle of a whole press conference or whatever. So she gave me Shiraz's number. And so he was very sweet and looked after me and whatever, and said that he's been with her for 15 years. And that's how, So anyway, so they obviously see her a lot more than I do. That's for sure. But I probably get once a year. She gets every week.
Well, I always see. I'm always like seeing on your Instagrams, both of you. I'm like, they're with Paris again. They're with Paris again.
I mean, I've noticed one thing about Paris that's been really inspiring to me. Paris is known as being a star maker. Like everybody talks about it. She's the first woman in the entertainment industry that I met. Well, I met her a while ago. After her, I met a lot of amazing women that she doesn't worry about sharing the spotlight. And I hadn't seen that before. Like usually when you're in the entertainment industry and you're around the biggest A-listers, and when it comes to sharing the spotlight, they're not generous. And Paris is like, go girl. Like she's so secure that she's like, there's enough sunlight for everybody.
That's beautiful. She's not intimidated, or she doesn't want to take who's this girl coming to take my my spotlight.
She's like, I have enough. There's enough for everybody.
And I think that's really cool. I find that with you, Caroline, as well. And I think that's super cool. Like there's always sharing the love.
Yeah.
Some people in this industry.
There's exactly what you said. There's enough room for all of us. And I love working and bringing my friends into things. I think there's so much more power in numbers.
Yeah.
Look, and you're a sharer. You did exactly the same for me. So I love to do all my stuff with you, and I'm hoping we're going to be doing a TV show together. And you brought me onto your radio show, and you didn't need to do that. And we, here we are doing this. It's great.
You forced me. You kept asking me when am I going on the radio show.
Shh, Chris.
This one is an amazing man. Honestly, he's seriously, he's a brother. He's a true brother.
No, you did.
I'm good.
He became my family. No, you did. You became my family here very, very quickly, and which is great because that doesn't happen a lot. And we I love your family.
This is how Shiraz. I'm sorry. This is how Shiraz told me about you. This is years ago. There is one guy I can call my brother, and you're gonna call him your brother too. You're gonna meet him in Dubai.
It's so cute.
So that's all I knew.
I think as you get older, or should I say, as you gain more experience, world experience, life experience, you start to weed out the people that you don't need in your life. And they say that you can, that circle that you have when you get older, it needs to be tight. It's 100%. I can count on one hand people that I talk to on a weekly basis. And the other people that I do talk to, they're just associates or friends or whatever. But there's a close knit of people that I would trust and that I would know that if ish was going down, they're there for me. And I think that's really important.
Yeah, there's no bullshit. We talk about everything.
Yeah.
Everything. I mean, he may not want to hear some of it. We talk about everything.
Yeah, it's true.
But it's nice, and it's good to have friends like that. And I think as we get older, we actually got to really choose them.
And, one thing that I want to add to this is that, again, I've only known Caroline for maybe a year, and I consider her a close friend. I've known people for 10 years that I feel like... So it's got nothing to do with what I've learned. It's got nothing to do with oh my gosh, but they were my childhood friends, or we grew up, we went to school together.
Which they don't understand.
Yeah, they
get so upset because you'll go, he's like my brother, and they're like, well, what about me? I've been around forever. But some people you click with and you have that rapport. I talk to you a lot about stuff, and we talk about deep stuff and things like this, and it's great. But some people you click and you feel that comfort with, and you feel like they're not going to betray you, and you can say anything to them. You may not even have. Was it Ellen DeGeneres just said the other day that you may not have the same views,
Yeah.
But you still love that person. You love that
you
person. You want
click.
to. Yeah, you click, and it's great. And
I
it's like
agree.
and I think the older we get, the more powerful it is between us because we don't need anything from anyone. We just don't. So the relationships we have, and we're so busy, the relationships we have is because we really want them.
Yeah.
True.
I think when you start, when you don't need something from someone, it's a different story. Like when you have your own stuff going on.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about everyone else. Listen, Megan, it's a pleasure to have you on our
Oh,
podcast.
thank you guys for
Loved
having me.
you.
I think we've
You
got to
are
talk for-
amazing inspiration to a lot of girls, and that's what I was. Also like you should go around schools, Megan. You should go around
Yeah, that's
schools
true.
for women, for like little girls, because you did grow up to be the princess, but you have you did it's amazing. You've done that, but you have one hell of a brain on you, which is just I think teaching that is key.
Caroline's still in shock about your brain.
I
She's
kind of
still-
am.
she still can't
Have you
believe
seen
it.
her shoes? For God's sake, she's
Yeah, what-
sparkling
what are
like
you wearing
anything.
real
She's
quickly?
wearing
'Cause
like
what is
stilts.
this?
I don't know.
What is this?
Stilts.
What are you wearing right
Look
now?
at me. I haven't even got any shoes on.
I'm wearing this whole look is from a dear friend of mine. Her name is Alexis Lerma. She's from the Archive showroom in LA. They hooked me up with all my outfits,
So
and it's so
nice.
crazy. When I was in Singapore last month and I was presenting this biotech company, right? And I was wearing this LED outfit,
saw
like
that,
LED
yeah.
lights from head to toe, and she looks at me and she's like, I hope people really listen to you looking like this. And I had like pink hair down to my knees.
Yeah, I've got to be honest. For anyone that doesn't follow Megan, you've got to follow her because the outfits, some of the outfits she puts on, you're like, Chris and I, like,
The funniest story was that we went to a YouTuber's wedding, Jake Paul's wedding
yeah.
in Vegas, right? And then the
was a
first
good
thing I said to Shiraz is like, what's Megan going to be wearing?
Oh my
And
gosh, she just came normal.
No. And he goes, just wait for it. And I'm like, okay.
No,
And-
remember last
yes.
month?
And then like I'm at the airport in LA going to Vegas. They're already in Vegas. Shiraz is like, hey, what did you forget? Your headpiece or your mask?
my red horns.
Oh, yeah. She had some red horns that she forgot. She's like, can you go back to the hotel and pick up Megan's red horns? I'm like, I'm already at the airport. There's no chance. And I'm like, thank she forgot the red horns.
I mean, honestly, but like, how do you come up with these? Like, honestly never seen outfits like this. And she leaves the house, but somehow you pull them off.
Yes, she does.
Like she just pulls them
Sometimes
off.
it's like a WWE wrestler walking into
Yeah.
an event. It's like you were dressed head to toe in this thing and there's a mask on and you're like, what? And then you just confidently walking
She
down the
basically
street.
puts Gaga to shame.
Yes, I was going to say that. That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Follow Megan on Instagram if you don't. It's Megan Pormer. We'll put her in all the tags below. Honestly, pleasure to have you on our podcast.
Thank you so much, guys.
All
I
right?
love you
back.
two so much. I can't wait
Yeah,
to come back.
Yeah.
We would love you to come back. Hey, hit us up on Instagram, your messages, spread the word. This is Chris Fade and Caroline Stanbury's Not So Epic podcast.
Look, over and out. He's so excited to leave. He's been in the worst mood.
Bye.
It's Chris Fade and Caroline Stanbury's Not So Epic podcast.
Brought to you by NMC Healthcare and Cosmosurge. Head to cosmosurge.com.